Moving on to the next, I'm just going to highlight the spiral. So if you remember, we started with a spiral as far as this tile is concerned. So I'm just going to go around and shade on the same lines. Yes. So redoing those lines of the spiral and then blending it. Take your time. Yes, it will go to a part of the banzo also. Then moving on to the next. So it goes both to the shattak and to the banzo. Again the next line. Take your time. Shade as you feel like. Enjoy the process. Enjoy how the grays add to your tile. Add so much depth to your work. Yes. Make sure you leave a center white here, which we can later highlight with our chalk. Yes, so that's our second tile. Moving on to the third, we generally add graphite to one side and then highlight the other. As far as bronze spears are concerned, same is with these flowers. Keep the shadows to about half. Take your time. Don't haste up. So as far as the first row is concerned, I'm keeping the shadow to half, and the second row I'm adding on both the edges. Yeah. So that the high and low shows. Yeah. So moving on to our fourth tile, jongle, darken one side. So taking the center line as a base, I'm adding graphite on one side. Yes. And just blend the graphite so as to darken one side of your jongle. Like this. And as far as the changing is concerned, you have to highlight these overlaps. So make sure you add very little graphite because the spaces are small. In fact, I may not require the pencil. What is already there on my tortillon, I can just touch with that. Yes. So I'm just going, and wherever the lines are going under, I'm just touching with my stub That's it. That is sufficient, and you don't need to do anything else. And the vertigo, again I'm going to add on one side. You can add darkness to any one side, this side or that side, that's not criteria. Again, from where mochas are emerging. This portion we are going to anyway highlight with our watercolor pencil also, but I am still adding some graphite. So the mochas kind of blend in. Yes. So next is to use your chalk. As far as this droop is concerned, we already have the highlights, but if you still want to re-emphasize it, you can just run the chalk in the center like this. Yes, as far as this part is concerned, the second tile, you can add a highlight on the shattuck, but that will show only if you have not turned the entire thing gray. Yes, so it's important that you keep your shading to the edges, and then you can use your chalk as a highlight. There is no highlight required on the banzo. You already have a highlight there. As far as your bronze spears is concerned, you generally highlight the other side where you have not added graphite, so they really pop up. Yes, bronze shear is a tangle that provides beautiful shading opportunity. So use a blending stub, a different one, to just soften the chalk. And the same exercise you can do on the bronze shears flowers also. So spaces where you have not added graphite, highlight it with your pencil. And if you want to just run your blending stub, soften the chalk. Yes. If you want to add a little extra darkness here, you can just add some extra graphite. Some of the places to highlight that over and under effect. Yes, moving on to the fourth, highlight the other side of the jongle. Like this. So the other side where you have not added graphite, you can add some chalk. Like this. Yes, they look like folds. And finally, the other side of your vertigo. And just soften the chalk. Make sure it blends with your tile. It's not. That's it. I don't think we need anything else here. Some bit of tipples here and there would be a good idea as far as your mukas are concerned, but again they are optional. Yes, you can add some bit of weight to one side of your center stem. Yeah, now let us move on to our gray watercolor pencil. So starting here again, make sure your pencil is sharp enough. If it is not, then please sharpen it. I think I am going to sharpen it a little. Yeah. And then same exercise here. Just to add that shadow. Take your time. Do that exercise throughout. That extra darkness that you need under the tiles and also under the string. This, yes, here probably a slight shadow under this string that is running from one end to the other. Just a little bit, not much. So let us now blend. Don't blend too much. Just a little. You don't have to spread it too much. Yes. Yeah. So I'm just spreading a little under the string also. Just a slight mild shadow there. Not too much, just a little. A soft shadow there under the string. Yes. Now we come to the background. So it is up to you. What do you want to do with the background? Yes. So let's again use a brush pen. So I'm going to create some orbs, random orbs on my tile. So I'm looking for the bolder pen, the O8. Yeah. So I'm going to create some random orbs like this before I go ahead and ink or use my brush pen to add color to my background. Yes, just adding some random bubbles, or maybe we can convert them into bubbles only. Yes, let's do that. So as far as bubbles are concerned, one more orb, third orb, and then a little weight on one side. Second orb, third orb, and a little weight on one side. Second orb, third orb, and a little weight on one side. Simple exercise, and these orbs start to look something like bubbles floating. So I was thinking of using gray in the background, but since we have converted the orbs into bubbles, plans keep changing as you draw. Yeah. So maybe we can add some blues. Yeah. So I'm going to use a really nice, light, subtle blue shade in the background. Yeah. So I'm going to use some nice, subtle blue shade in the background. I think this shade looks fine. Yes. So rest of the tile I'm just going to use the brush pen and have fun. Yeah? Just like a small child, I'm going to color my rest of the tile, rest of the project, rest of the space that is left on my paper. Like this. Yeah? So take your time, do that exercise. I'm going to take my own time, slowly fill up the space. So I'm on the last lab, almost finished coloring my background with my blue brush pen. Yes. So you can either leave it like this, or if you want a little more zen, use your jelly roll and you can add some indirellas floating in there, having some fun. So this tangle is called indirella. Probably using black would be better, maybe. Yeah. So use a bolder nib like an 08 and add some indirellas floating here and there in the background. And that's it. I don't think we need anything else. That is sufficient. Indirella. Again, a purely aura based angle. Fun to draw. Yes, you want to add a little shadow under the tiles. You can do that with your brush pen. If you have your gray brush pen handy, then you can always add a little bit of shadow here also. But again, as I said, these things are not mandatory. You can always do without it also. A slight touch there with the gray. And that's it. Yeah. So let us now close our tile, or else we'll go on and on and on. Yes. Put in your chalk. Be proud of your creation. Hold it at an arm's length. Appreciate it. Yes, what beautiful tiles we have created during this session. So I shall see you again with a few more sessions of tile on tile. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.